I'm trusting the council with these plans, but the Queen mustn't know. I can't have her meddling in affairs that could determine the future of the realm. There's too much at stake.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, I shall be silent as the grave.
Brian Cogman wrote the script, and Alex Zakharov, our director, had the really inspired idea where each of those three scenes bleeds into each other. And so Tyrion is basically using the same ruse on three different men. It's a trick that comes straight from the book where Tyrion knows someone's been betraying the former hands and giving information to his sister, and he wants to know who it is.
But remember, you must tell no one.
Tell no one what?
The scene is almost like a manifestation of how Tyrion's mind works, where all three of these pieces are the part of a whole, and you never would have gotten the sense of that you get from the scene if Alec hadn't shot it so brilliantly.
The thing about Tyrion is he has respect for these men. He might not like them. He doesn't really like them, most of them, but he does respect them. He respects their minds and how crafty they are.
He's not just trying to find a piece of information. He's trying to send a message about who the new sheriff in town is and how that sheriff operates. He wants everyone to know that he knows how this game is played.
Oh, and remember,
The Queen mustn't know.
Rise. Remove your helm. You are all your father promised and more, my lady.
This is a deeply sexist world, you know, and this is not a world where women are knights, and women are expected to be, if they're highborn women like Brienne is, she's expected to be a wife. She's not expected to be someone who's fighting on the battlefield or fighting in a melee with someone like Loras.
Yield! I yield!
And she's constantly having to show that she's actually just as good at this as the men are, and in fact better. I mean, Loras is a quite renowned fighter, and she beats him.
This is a world where power has a male face, and Brienne's come from a place where she was allowed to pursue her dreams. She was allowed to be who she really was in the way that Ned was letting Arya become who she really wanted to be.
And if it please you, Brienne's enough. I'm no lady.
There's this wonderful moment that's not even verbal, it's just all on Michelle Fairley's face when she hears those words from Brienne, and you kind of know if you've been watching the series, she's thinking about Arya, and you know, this girl she loves so much she hasn't seen in such a long time, and you know, Brienne is very different in some respects from Arya, but on the other hand, you could see Arya really admiring Brienne because she always kind of wanted to be that.
I think Catelyn sees a real connection between these two sword-fighting women.
Rise. Brienne of the Kingsguard.
You'd have our father bow down to your other family.
I have no other family.
Don't you? Make your choice, Theon, and do it quickly. Our ships sail with or without you.
Everyone's felt the imposter complex. Everyone's found themselves in a position where they're trying to act like they belong in a place where they don't belong. And I think there's something universal about that feeling. And Theon is just almost the pure embodiment of that.
I think part of him is kind of like, well, you know, you have to be true to your family, and Rob probably should have listened to Catelyn's advice and not been so dunderheaded as to send Theon Greyjoy off to Balon Greyjoy without expecting that Theon's loyalties might be compromised. I've always loved Theon. I always loved the character in the books, and I always loved the prospect of what he could be in our series. And it all comes down to this. He's having a long, dark night of the soul. He has to make a decision. T.S. Eliot talked about the objective correlative, which is that object that can provide the emotional resonance and make it seem real, you know, as opposed to just talking about loyalty. You actually have it. You have that object there. It's the letter. It's all about what he does with this letter.
The burning of the letter tells you what you need to know about the choice he's made, but the baptism scene shows you more visibly and more intuitively what it means to him to be accepted into his family and to become a real member of his family for the first time in as long as he can remember.
It's one of those scenes we love because there's so much that's conveyed without any dialogue. Just the visual imagery conveys what you need to know, and then it's also just Alfie's performance, and you know what you see on his face as the water's going down his head.
What is dead may never die.
What is dead may never die, but rises again, harder and stronger.